What's some outdated advice that's no longer applicable today? 1900s medicine. Sore throat, smoke a cig. Depression, smoke a cig. Pain from pregnancy contractions, smoke a pack of cigs. The week before I left for college, my dad bought a cheap electric etcher. He etched my social security number on my TV and bike and a couple other things. That way if they were stolen and recovered I could prove they were mine. Probably not done today. To get a job, just walk in with a good attitude and a printed copy of your resume, and don't forget the follow-up phone call. When hiring at my work, my boss specifically writes to never call in the ad. If anyone calls, I'm supposed to tell them the position is filled, because if they read the ad and still call, they obviously can't follow basic instructions. Regularly clean the ball and rollers on your mouse. If the picture on your computer monitor is discolored or distorted, try pressing the degasser button. Make sure to keep spare change on you for the payphone, just in case. If a high school student has a pager, he's probably a drug dealer. Yes, they actually told us this at my high school. When on vacation it's unsafe to carry cash. Use traveler's checks instead. American Express traveler's checks don't leave home without them. In the original Boy Scouts handbook, if I recall, in order to deal with a suicidal person who threw themselves onto train tracks was to jump on top of them and restrain their extremities within the confines of the rails and allow the train to simply pass over them. However, as far as I'm aware, most modern trains have much lower clearances, and have monitoring and other equipment jutting from the bottom, leaving clearances of mere inches. You need to learn to write in cursive or nobody will take you seriously and you won't get good grades on your assignments in college. By 2010, when I went to college, virtually all of my assignments, including most tests, were digital, and even the few handwritten exams allowed regular print. Edit. It's come up in a few comments. Here's my handwriting. http://imgur.com/a/it works. Not sure about outdated, but when people say just be patient and love will find its way was said in a time when people were outside a lot more. Nowadays someone can go to work and go home and sit at their computer every day for years without ever being even close to finding someone. I think nowadays you have to go out of your way to find someone. Disclaimer: I was given a what to expect when you're expecting book printed in the early, mid-70s. Up to 5 glasses of wine a day are safe, at least 2 are recommended. Up to 4 hard alcoholic beverages a week are okay. Snowsuits and car seats to keep babies warm in the car. Breastfeeding is okay, but formula is better because it's scientifically better, and breastfeeding should only be done if you're not able to afford formula. Up to 2 ounces water beginning at 8 weeks, maybe 6. Up to 1/2 pack of cigarettes a day is okay. Glorify the husband stitch. Too much cardio, more than 20 minutes of mild to moderate exercise a day, or actual hard exercise at all, increases stillbirth and SIDS afterwards. To get a job, walk on in any place of business. They're always hiring, and talking to the manager will get you that job starting today. Smile. I was told I may not have a calculator in the future and have to memorize multiplication, division tables. They were right. But instead I have a supercomputer in my pocket. If you have bullies, just ignore them. Honestly, this was never applicable as someone who's dealt with bullies as long as I can remember. It's an unrealistic expectation that a-holes like that would just stop because you don't care. My dad would repeatedly advise that I go into as many places as I could and drop off a printed CV for their records, and that this was the best way to get a job. It wasn't true then. Few places accept unsolicited applications, they will throw them out, and it definitely isn't true now. Nowhere accepts unsolicited applications are all done online. My mother still believes you can bombard people with inquiries about employment, even after the pandemic lockdown started. My grandma told me to find out where a restaurant is, look up their phone number in the yellow pages and call to ask for directions. Adults in the 90s/early 2000s, don't put your personal information online. Fast forward to 2021, 500 million Facebook users' phone numbers, names, and emails were leaked. I wonder how many of those are people aged 50+. Finish your plate. I just teach my kids to stop eating when they feel enough. No need to stuff their faces with more food just because of whatever. Not American BTW. If you want to talk to someone again, make sure that you got a pager on you. You should not date someone from another ethnic background. That's the one my mother taught me. Stay working at company for a long time and grow with them. Get amazing benefits. Get promoted and retire. Companies of today do not value tenure anywhere near where they did decades ago. Lot of people sit inside company with hopes to grow, which may never happen, and if it does, companies pay you for person you were, and rarely do promotions, raises that match the person you are now. Prompted people are notoriously underpaid compared to new hires. Reality is companies commonly underpay promotions to save money, preying on your motivation, compared to paying the industry rate, which they would have to do if they listed the position online next to similar positions. Another issue is companies generally give small, non-existent raises to employees for tenure compared to decades ago. You are paid for employee you were, and sadly not if companies pay you for employee you are now. If you are motivated to increase money, resume seeking new job with 2-3 years of additional experience. Roles can open lot of doors and increase pay for new position in your field. Obviously money is not everything. If you truly enjoy company, its benefits and happy with your pay, then stick around. Just no money, growth-wise it's not best idea as it was decades ago with your parents and grandparents etc. Handful of companies do pay their employees well, give benefits and care about tenure, but I find it's exception rather than the rule. Always look out for your interest and do your own research. If you need a job, walk into a business and speak with the manager, for several reasons, most recently being COVID. Given to young girls, that boy is being mean to you because he has a crush on you. Nope, that boy is just being a dickhead, and that behavior is not a good thing. Go to college and you will get a good job. One day you will meet the right person, fall in love, get married, and you'll be happy. Take it like a man, men don't cry. As a woman who wants to see men grow and express their emotions, it seems damaging to make them adhere to an outdated gender norm. This primarily applies to Korea and Koreans exclusively. From my experiences, it may apply to other crowded places as well, but I'm not going into stereotypes without personal encounters. Look both sides before crossing the road. In the States, yeah, this worked out really well. In Korea, however, screw the rules. Cars go vroom vroom at whatever speed they choose. It's jarring how a majority of drivers are actually terrible, and I'm starting to agree with why Asians have this bad rep as bad drivers. I say this as a Korean American myself, and my driving is comparably tame, getting honked at for abiding the driving laws, obeying the solid lines that explicitly tell me to stop, look for pedestrians and accelerate again. I can't go a day without drivers here trying to run me over. Jaywalking is also stupidly bad, as folks here look at their phones rather than the road or sidewalk to care. There are no shortcuts in life. The internet is basically life's shortcut to answers. Blood is thicker than water. Gramps' dad could dislocated her arm and it would have been seen as a fair way of discipline. go out to businesses and introduce yourself and drop off your resume to find a job. I wish someone would explain to my mother that this is simply not how the world works anymore. Maybe if you want a retail or food service job but not as a college grad looking for work in research. 20 years ago, you'll want to save up 30-50 grand so that you can put a down payment on a house. Now, just add another zero onto that and hope someone doesn't come in with a cash offer. Don't mind at night, it doesn't make a difference after the spawn cap is hit. All the time I wasted early game just standing in my house during the night instead of mining is in the hours at this point. Hurts, man. Be sure to call them a few days after the interview to let them know that you're still interested in the job. Number. Don't do that. Hiring is an entirely different process nowadays, and pestering them won't help you. Wait 3 days after you get a woman's number to call her. Every woman who I have ever talked to about this absolutely hates this advice. If she gives you her number, social media, fucking contact her. Use common sense to know when not to look too thirsty. Dad, you want a job? You need to walk right into the place you want to work, find the boss, and introduce yourself with a firm handshake and a resume printed on nice paper. Later that day, kid, hi, I am interested in working here. Can you direct me to the boss office? Receptionist. He's actually very busy right now, but if you want to apply, just go to our website and click the careers link at the bottom. It'll guide you through the whole application process. Is there anything else I can help you with today, kid? Right, well, I was thinking I might try to stand out a little more by showing up in person with a resume on nice paper. As my father always said, a firm handshake is the best introduction you can make. So, can you at least give him my resume? Receptionist : Yeah, sure, I'll make sure he sees it. It might not be a bad idea to apply online anyway, you know, gotta cover your bases, kid. Okay, thanks, have a nice day. Receptionist: thanks, you have a nice day as well. Waits till the kid leaves, then bins the resume. Just go in there and ask for a job. You gotta handwrite your resume. If you don't go to college you'll never get a good job. Put all your money in the bank. Investing means you can lose everything. You just gotta put yourself out there. Walk downtown and hand each place your resume. That's what an employer is looking for. People who tell you to physically go out and ask for applications at jobs. Unless a place is either really far behind or desperate, you have to apply online. All decent-sized companies exclusively have applications online and have for years. Anyone who tells you this likely hasn't been applying for jobs since the 80s. My grandma: don't drink water after eating fruit or you'll get sick. Apparently this comes from a time when people drank from wells. The sugar from the fruit would allow bacteria from the water to ferment in the stomach. Not a problem with modern water supplies. The first time you charge a device such as a phone, charge it for 24 hours straight and then use it until it is fully discharged and recharge. I've heard this shit 1000s of times and it is bullshit, at least for lithium batteries, which have been the norm for over 10 years and 99% or such devices. Also, the best care for such batteries is never to fully discharge. They do have a circuit to prevent them being totally discharged, because this can damage the batteries severely. If you really want the job, walk in and introduce yourself. As a recruiter you're a fucking pain in the ass. As a manager, I'm too fucking busy to interview you on the spot just because you decided that now is a good time to stop by. Fuck off and apply online like everybody else so I can have you answer the same questions that everybody else is answering. Hard work pays off. In reality, hard work gets you nowhere but used and causes your employer to expect more and more of you. Most companies used to be run by people that worked their way up. They are now run by people who aren't qualified and haven't ever done a hard day's work but rather are good at being shady and running numbers to look good while the company is secretly failing, all while they make six-figure salaries. Don't put your baby down on its stomach. They used to say this because they thought babies could choke in their sleep if on their backs, but since then research has proven that babies put face down are at higher risk of SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. Same goes for a lot of things concerning babies. No more sit-up rockers, no more fluffy crib bumpers, and breastfeeding is better than formula. When I was first applying for jobs as a teenager, my mom insisted I go in and apply in person because it looks better to the potential hirer. Nowadays, if you try to apply in person, 9 times out of 10, they'll just look at you and tell you to go online. Literally everything men are told about dating. I love my father, but when I was single, this is a conversation we had. Hey, those 2 girls you work with are attractive. You should ask one out. I can't, Dad. They both have boyfriends, so what? Ask them out anyway. It's not like they'll be together forever. You can edge the other guy out. Yeah, that's really not okay. As a kid, it was common to hear video games and staring at that screen all day won't get you anywhere. Nowadays, with a little bit of dedication, you can easily make a livable wage. Plus more, playing video games. Just get a degree, it doesn't matter what it's in. I feel so bad for the sorry sons of bitches my age who bought into this. Even friends from college who had more marketable skills. There was a surprising number who went into nursing for a second career. To go inside a store and ask for a job directly. Nowadays, all job applications are done online and you'll be seen as annoying and impatient if you keep coming in or calling to check on your application. That you need to fully drain rechargeable batteries before recharging. Please don't do that with lithium batteries. Modern batteries don't have memory effect anymore and draining them is actually aging them faster. Don't wash your cast iron. Anyone that says this is a dirty pan-having motherfucker. This is aged-out advice from the days when soap contained lime would cause an issue with cast iron, but that hasn't been true for decades. Wash your pan, get it hot, then wipe it down with as little oil as you need to just barely coat the sucker. You'll have a perfectly seasoned clean pan and be good to go. Never use soap on a cast iron pan. This hasn't applied for decades. Old soaps contained lye which could break down the polymers in the seasoning on a cast iron pan. Modern day soaps are made with detergents and are incapable of breaking down those polymers. Bad advice. Submit your resume online. Author, executive recruiter with 10+ year experience. When you apply to a job, you become one of the 100 that apply for that job. However, the recruiter who owns that requisition, industry term, has 20 other recs, which means you are one of 2,000 that applied for the jobs they are working. On top of that, they have 10 active candidates they are managing that are equally as qualified as you, assuming you are a top candidate, which means they are managing 200 candidates through multiple phone screens and in-person interviews. TLDR, recruiters don't have time to go through 2,000 resumes a week to find you. Instead, they run a LinkedIn search and find the exact people they are looking for. There are much better ways to be found. Literally everything my boomer parents have told me about job hunting. As long as you have a bachelor's degree, no one will care what it's in. Do you know how hard it is to spin an English degree into a job that actually pays well? Most of the time you need a master's too. Always apply in person for a position. They'll want to see what a go-getter you are. Yeah, and they'll immediately tell me to go apply online. You don't need experience when you're applying for jobs. You just need to know how to put yourself out there. That's not how this works anymore. Unfortunately, why are you only working as a receptionist/barista/cashier? You're too smart to be in one of those positions. Well, they're the only jobs that will hire me apparently. This shit sucks.